Welcome to CW 2.1. Today we're covering long division. Let's go to example 1 right here. So start by drawing your division house. Let's put in the dividend right here, and then the divisor on the outside. So this should look pretty familiar. Now for long division, it's just like regular, like what you do with regular numbers. Think about this first slot. You're thinking something times this expression should create this x squared. So you're going to write x. We're going to multiply x to x plus 3. That is going to be x squared plus 3x. Draw your line, subtract. Now here's a part that everybody forgets. Don't forget to put a parenthesis here. That's important. So now when we subtract, be very careful. X squared minus x squared, that's just gone. 10 minus 3, that is 7x. Now drop your 21 down and do the same thing. We clearly want a plus 7 here, because now we get 7x plus 21. When I subtract the whole quantity, I get a 0. If you get a 0, put a happy face. That would mean there is no remainder. Zeros are really good. So right there is our answer. Now let's try a harder example. We're going to start off by doing the same thing. Here's our divisor. But for this next part, you have to remember to put a 0x squared here. So that's something everybody forgets. Make sure you put a big note. Don't forget you need this. You need a placeholder. And the reason for that is because watch what happens as we're working through this. Let's put our 5x squared here. We're going to multiply 5x cubed. This will create 10x squared. Because of this term right here, it has to line up with something. So that's why you have to just write this in by yourself. The problem won't tell you to do that. You have to recall that on your own. Now from here, we're going to subtract the whole thing. Same thing. Negative 10x squared. Let's drop down our 6x and repeat the process. Now we're going to put negative 10x here, because when I multiply it, so you multiply this to this expression right here, you get negative 10x squared minus 20x. And again, subtract the quantity. So now we have 26x. I'm going to drop my 8 down. Same thing. I'm going to put plus 26. And now we see something interesting happening. The remainder is clearly not 0. I get negative 44 right there. So in cases like this, what you have to do is you put plus negative 44, your remainder, over your divisor, x plus 2. And now you have your answer. And if you're wondering why that is, you can kind of do a simpler example. Like let's say we have 9 divided by 7. Same thing. You get a remainder of 2. Now in grade school you just wrote remainder 2, but to be more precise, you could say 1 and 2/7. That would be the exact answer. So again, that's the same thing as saying 1 remainder 2 in this context. So this is the pure mathematical answer. So for your notes, we can add this little thing right here. This piece is going to be remainder divided by divisor. Okay, so that should have been pretty straightforward. Now we're going to do what's called synthetic division. So some of you learned it last year, but for most of you, this should be new. Synthetic division provides you a way to do division, but it's much faster. The only condition is that you need this to be 1 right here. So I'm referring to that piece right there. Need coefficient of 1. It does work without that. There's just some tricks you have to do. But for the most part, you need this coefficient of 1. Otherwise, you don't want to do synthetic division. This is how you set it up. You're going to start by drawing a half box, like a backwards L right there. Draw a line right about there. And what you do is you write the coefficients of this thing right here. So it's similar to long division, except you just write the coefficients down. 5, 0, 6, and 8. So notice how those is the same thing as I did over here. 5, 0, 6, and 8. Now in the box, here's the important part. In the box, you write the 0. So 0 meaning, look at this expression right here, this x plus 2, and think about what makes it 0. Or think of it as the opposite. So this is positive 2. The opposite is going to be negative 2. There's your setup. Now this is how it's going to work. The algorithm goes like this. You drop the 5 down, and all you do is you multiply and add. So you do negative 2 times 5, that's negative 10. Now add, negative 10. Multiply, add, multiply, and add. You're going to put a box over negative 44. That box is your remainder. Now notice how we have the exact same numbers as we did over here. Look at this 5, negative 10, 26, negative 44. And look at what we have over here. 5, negative 10, 26, negative 44. So all that's left is to put these numbers into a context. So what you do is the last number is your remainder. This number is your constant. So think of it as like a regular number. The next one is x to the first power. The next one is x to the second power. And it would just keep going up if you had more terms. So the answer here would be 5x squared minus 10x plus 26 plus negative 44 over x plus 2. The exact same thing. So we'll try a couple more just to make sure we got it. Let's try this one right here. The 0 here is negative 2. We're going to write 1, 0, negative 7, negative 6. We're going to drop the 1 down. Multiply and add. Multiply, add. Multiply, add. Multiply. And now look at this one. We got 0. So again, if you get a 0, make sure you put a happy face. That's really good. That means there's no remainder, which means our answer is right here. X squared minus 2x minus 3. And if the remainder is 0, that's actually interesting, because that would mean we just found that x cubed minus 7x minus 6 is equal to x plus 2 multiplied by x squared minus 2x minus 3. Which means if we know this method right here, synthetic division, you kind of have a way to factor things now. Because notice how we just figured out this thing factors to this right here. So that's pretty cool. We'll do one more example to make sure you got it down. In the box, think about what to write. Negative 1. Let's put our coefficients down. 3, negative 2, negative 7, negative 6. Drop the 3. Now we multiply and add. Negative 3, that's negative 5. 5, negative 2. This is 2, this is negative 4. Draw a box. That's your remainder box. And let's put it into an answer now. That would be 3x squared minus 5x minus 2 plus negative 4 over x plus 1. That's it.